Okay, let's talk about what happened in Amsterdam this week. Now, on Thursday, there was a football match between Ajax from Amsterdam and Maccabi Tel Aviv, Israel. Before, during, and after the match, some people misbehaved, some riots broke out. Reportedly, some Israeli supporters from Maccabi were attacked and assaulted. Now, virtually every Western mainstream media outlet labeled this as anti-Semitic violence. Now, before I continue, let me be very clear here. I absolutely condemn any form of violence against innocent people, innocent football supporters, for example, and of course I also condemn any form of violence against any ethnic group or religious group or whatsoever, and that of course also includes anti-Semitic violence. Let that be crystal clear. However, having said that, and this is something that the Western mainstream media seems to have been doing consistently for decades now, and that is this. Whenever something happens in this world that involves Israel or Israeli citizens, it seems like all of a sudden these media outlets are giving us a very one-sided, very pro-Israeli version of the story. And I believe that the reporting on what happened in Amsterdam this week is no exception. Take a look at this headline from CNN. Anti-Semitic attacks on Israeli soccer fans bring shame on Amsterdam, mayor says. Now this is the BBC. Amsterdam mayor condemns hit-and-run attacks on Israeli football supporters. Now let's also take a look at France 24. Israeli football fans assaulted in Amsterdam, leaving 5 hospitalized. Now this way of framing the story was pretty much consistent all over the Western mainstream media, and even the press conference by the mayor of Amsterdam was framed in exactly the same way. Now the US President Joe Biden also responded, basically said the same thing, as did the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. And it was all about Israeli supporters getting attacked, anti-Semitic violence in Amsterdam, and that was the entire story. Now this way of framing suggests that these Israeli supporters had planned to go to Amsterdam just to have a good time, to be on their best behavior, peacefully watch the game and then quietly go home. But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they were attacked by an angry mob only because they are from Israel. Now, I believe that is simply incorrect, or at least it is not the full story. Anyone who dives a little deeper into this story will inevitably discover that there is a little bit more to it. Now, the first clue we might have gotten that maybe not all of these Israeli supporters might have had the best of intentions was when in the stadium, the spectators were asked for 1 minute of silence in honor of the casualties of the floodings in Valencia, Spain. This is what happened. Now, does that really come across as a group of people on their best behavior? Now, many of these so-called supporters started marching the streets of Amsterdam, shouting all kinds of very vile, racist slurs, anti-Arab, anti-Muslim slurs primarily, and they then started tearing down Palestinian flags in Amsterdam. Now this is a story by RTL in the Netherlands. It's about a taxi driver in Amsterdam that was brutally beaten up by these Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters. Now, I could go on and on talking about these incidents because there's more, but I believe that my point is clear. I think it's pretty clear that many of these Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters were not exactly model citizens. I think it's safe to say that many of them are outright hooligans, but we hear almost nothing about that in the Western mainstream media. I believe the media, especially the mainstream media, and certainly the authorities in the Netherlands, but basically all over the world, has a responsibility to inform the populace correctly, fully, and objectively. But it doesn't seem like that has been happening here at all. It seems like these media outlets are strategically leaving out some parts of the story, or for example, they're so underreporting certain incidents that many people don't even know about them. And with that, like always, they're painting a very distorted, very one-sided, very pro-Israeli picture. I believe we call that misinformation. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that any of the things that these Maccabi Tel Aviv hooligans have done justify attacking innocent people. I'm not saying that. But what I am trying to say is that if you're going to report on something like this, then please tell the whole story.